First. I don't think I've ever presented from a chair. So thank you for accepting me as I am. And just to get it all checked off your list, new e-bike, maiden voyage. Enough said, right? So welcome to what I hope is a wonderful sleep workshop as we discover together to create everyday serenity. So right out of the gates, let's be sure that our conversation begins with an end in mind. What exactly is it that we're solving for? Why are we talking about something like sleep? And it's this. We are solving for a quality of life. In our doTERRA world this last year, since the release of the MetaPower system, we've experienced a real anchoring by focusing our efforts specifically more on metabolic health. And the more reading and research we do, we find all roads lead to metabolic health as both a baseline and an umbrella to the majority of our wellness efforts. And all those roads lead to one end goal, earning a quality of life. In our doTERRA world, we are blessed with a framework we call our wellness lifestyle. It does an excellent job of illustrating how we go about achieving and earning that quality of life. It's by making wellness-based decisions, not just once, but every single day. The model gives us an important basis for health and wellness decisions with what I like to call a hierarchy of health, bringing order and logic to our strivings. So now we take our focus here together to the ever important rest section or portion of that wellness lifestyle. Because frankly, the bottom line is sleep 100% impacts that quality of life and the health we're striving for. So then, if we're solving for a quality of life, we must there solve for a quality of sleep, as one is not without the other. And that quality can be measured in a number of significant ways, ones we get to participate in on a daily basis. As we move together through this sleep conversation, I invite you to directly consider how your quality and quantity of rest directly impact you in each of these areas. Reason being, these are how we measure if that quality of life is present for us. A health span that lasts as long as our lifespan, a biological age younger than our chronological age, true metabolic health, an overall sense of well-being, energy available to us to the end of every day, the capacity to move with strength and recover fully, or what we could define as measurable fitness, and even, yes, how we look on the outside. So let's dive in. Right out of the gates, let's overcome an objection, shall we? And I might perhaps be talking to myself. I know for people like me or Emily Wright, because you've probably heard one of us say it, you can sleep when you die. I want to speak to us activator, achiever, maximizer, responsibility types in the room, right? I mean, really, who can sleep when there's so many important and fun things to do in life? What's a little lost sleep here and there? We've got oils and supplements. I don't know about you, but I'm super good at cheating sleep. But in all honesty, we live in a super busy world, and it's not uncommon for our family responsibilities, work or deadlines, those pet projects, or even, yes, our blessed technological distractions to get in the way. And our sleep then can become underrated in its level of its importance. So we get to confess to ourselves that allowing our mind and body to rest and recuperate is also a vital part of every day. And because misery loves company, I just wanted those of you who can relate to know you're not alone. Apparently, getting enough sleep is something a lot of people struggle with. Upwards of 50 to 70 million Americans struggle with sleep, where 1 out of 3 are not getting the amount of uninterrupted sleep they should. And apparently, there's a huge solution or a huge market for solutions. Not to mention, ladies, we tend to have a more difficult time falling asleep and staying asleep. It may seem like a lot to us to spend, yes, a third of our life sleeping. I get it. However, there are significant costs that come from cutting our sleep short. It goes way beyond feeling tired. Not getting enough sleep puts a strain on our energy levels, and that can manifest in a number of ways. Trouble remembering things, a reduced attention span, slowed thinking, reduced sex drive, poor decision making, irritability, daytime sleepiness, and yes, even impaired driving. A literal deterioration of mental and physiological performance starts 16 hours of after being awake, which impacts our capacity for work, home, and school life. Focus, emotional reactivity, risk-taking, behavior, judgment, they all suffer. You've got to have time to take out your trash, emotionally, mentally, and physically. From clearing cellular debris or waste to breaking down a toxic protein called beta amyloid from your brain, you need sleep. Otherwise, things like cognitive function can continue to decline over time. Sleep is our time to conduct our business internally like no other time of day can. Now that we've got ourselves motivated, let's get ourselves more educated on the actual science of sleep and dig deeper into something called the sleep cycle and its accompanying phases and stages, and how this great thing is our great reset button. The body follows a very specific sleep cycle that's divided into 4 stages. Each repeat multiple times throughout the night and have specific physiological changes. I want to go through each of those with you briefly because I know for me, having a better understanding of this whole process has given me both a greater appreciation as well as better strategy for how I support my own cycle better. Stage 1. We're all familiar with having our eyes closed, drifting off, but we're still somewhat aware of what's happening around us, perhaps a dog moving or a fan whirling, kids or the TV humming in the other room. You get it, you get it. This first phase, this drifting off light sleep, lasts for about 10 to 20 minutes. And I like the term twilight phase, where we are literally transitioning into and fading off to sleep and starting to slow down. Stage 2, we then enter what is termed light sleep, where our body functions are slowing even more. Our heart rate, breathing, and body temperature drop, muscles relaxed, eye movement cease, and brain waves slow. This is the longest of the 4 stages and lasts about 60 minutes. Stage 3 is deep sleep, and this is where I think things get a little more exciting. Our heartbeat and breathing reach their lowest levels. Our muscles are as relaxed as they're going to be, and our brain activity slows from choppy to steady. Synchronized delta waves are rolling then from our frontal lobe to the back of our brain. As well, during this time, our cells are producing the growth hormone for important projects like bone, muscle, and blood vessel repair and restoration throughout our body. This stage plays a huge role in how refreshed and alert we then feel the next day. Earlier in the night, this stage lasts longer, and as the night progresses, the length of this repeated phase will shorten more and more. In those first 3 phases, our parasympathetic nervous system kicks in to slow us down in all the ways. And then we hit stage 4, where things take a plot turn. During REM sleep, also known as rapid eye movement, the sympathetic nervous system is then activated, increasing our breathing, our heart rate, and our blood pressure to levels we're at when we're awake yet relaxed. As the name suggests, yes, our eyes do move back and forth quickly under our eyelids. And what's happening within is truly fantastic. During REM sleep, the brain is a divided kingdom. Areas responsible for visual perception, movement, autobiographical memory, and emotional processing are quite active, supporting a surreal ride through hallucinations that would send us straight to the psychiatrist if this was happening during waking hours. Whereas our prefrontal cortex, responsible for rational thought, goes dormant. Our arms and legs are practically paralyzed, and it's believed this locking down is to prevent us from physically acting out in our dreams and therefore hurting ourselves or someone else. Experiments reveal that dreams help us process our emotions. During deep dream sleep, we don't just revisit the day, we process our emotions tied to related events and memories, but in a way that disconnects us from those emotions, making it easier to recall an experience without reliving it. Those who are able to dream about traumatic experiences, for example, are found to recover more quickly than those who do not. Numerous studies link our REM sleep to memory consolidation, where recently learned experiences are converted into long-term memories, learning, and retained knowledge. Studies show the emotions of a dream may be the most important element, whereas only 1 to 2% are replays of the day's actual events, and 55% revisit the emotions of the day. Each time we revisit this phase, it becomes longer and longer, and this is where we are when we wake up, which is why we often remember those last dream or few. Upon awakening, we are then able, with our conscious mind, to stitch together these separate pieces and continue to form a meaningful tapestry of our lives. The magical time we have to process our lives at night while sleeping is beautifully defined by Dr. Matthew Walker, professor of neuroscience and psychology at UC Berkeley, as overnight therapy. We sleep to remember, we sleep to forget, he says. Who hasn't been in their wits' end trying to resolve an argument or complete a frustrating task or project before bed, only to find in the morning you're laughing about what you were fighting about the night before, or are suddenly progressing much easier and faster on that task the next day? When emotions are high and our brain is tired, we simply aren't coping or thinking well. And a good night's sleep can truly make all the difference. Undeniably, sleep has major impact on our wake time quality of life. The way we feel when we're awake is all about what's happening when we're not. As hunky-dory as all that sounds, and it is, there are those for whom the story of sleep occasionally goes another direction. With compassion, let's acknowledge and address it. So then, what could possibly go wrong to turn a sleep cycle into a vicious cycle? Well, for example, have you ever had a newborn at your house, or a fierce deadline from work, or made a habit out of staying up too late on your phone or computer, hooked on social media scrolling, or watching some enthralling video on YouTube? Or maybe it's getting your shopping in. Perhaps that much needed caffeine from the afternoon has come back to haunt you. Or is it your mattress or pillow are no bueno? And then there's the biggies, some big life event or situation you can't stop thinking about, mulling over in your mind. Or that nagging discomfort where some body part screams out at night, keeping you from much needed rest. Any of this sound familiar? So let me ask you, because I want to make this personal to you. How are your mornings after? Are you rested, invigorated, and ready to start the day? Or perhaps more arrested, grumpy, sluggish, and would rather bury your head under the pillow and delay meeting the day, let alone your people or your to-do list? So now for the good news. There are absolutely things we can do to empower our capacity to improve our sleep. You may have heard the term sleep hygiene. It refers to daily routines and environments that promote consistent, uninterrupted sleep and include things like keeping a stable sleep schedule, making our bedroom comfortable and free of distractions, and following a relaxing bedtime routine. As we go through these suggestions, think about your own situation and what may be useful to you. How can you tailor your sleep hygiene practices to your unique needs? Ultimately, the goal is to make it easier to sleep soundly through the night and wake up rested. First, let's talk about timing. There is absolutely something to be said for following a consistent sleep schedule, where wake up and bedtimes kept make all the difference. Committing to these patterns help your body work within its natural rhythms. And if you're one of those people who needs a schedule overhaul, trust the tendencies you're wired with. It's quite magical when you think about it. You're designed to fall into the habit of a natural sleep-wake cycle. It's just a matter of retraining yourself. Start by doing a few things right and eliminate the obvious enemies of your success, such as a lack of movement during the day, naps or caffeine outside of morning hours, spicy foods, heavy eating, or intense exercise late at night. None of these serve your cause. And speaking of, in case you're already trying to renegotiate your weekends, nice try, but the experts say no. One of the best things we can do for our sleep hygiene is to keep our schedule. Second, let's talk straight about quantity. Everybody needs the right amount of sleep, an adequate number of hours, but most don't know how much this optimal amount varies from one person to another or age to another. From the CDC and based on studies and research, here is a thorough chart showing optimal hours of sleep by age and stage of life. Everyone knows babies and children need more sleep to support their growth and development, but hey, so does everyone else. We just talked about stage 3 of sleep, where massive repair, renewal, and restoration occur. Beyond those formidable years, sleep needs vary, where one adult may need 8 or 9 hours, and another feels completely rested with 7. Elder adults likely notice a decrease in need for sleep as they age. Usually 7 to 8 hours is sufficient. Activity level also plays a significant role, where more vigorous exercise demands then more recovery time versus someone who has moderate levels of movement. Lastly, a great way to measure your accuracy is to simply observe yourself or someone else's mood and behavior during the day. Next, managing your exposure to light is huge for sleep hygiene. From plenty in the day, especially during those early morning hours, to toning it way down at night, it cannot be stressed enough that light and the lack thereof are what trigger your natural rhythms. You're telling your pineal gland what time of day it is. So therefore, blue light screen time at night is the opposite of what your body needs by way of appropriate triggers. And by the way, a great hack when it comes to protecting yourself from any blue light exposure is I wear our new face sunscreen every single day. Not only because I'm outside from time to time, but because I'm getting loads of blue light exposure from my computer and phone all day long. Next, your bedroom atmosphere is a big part of your sleep hygiene. Don't hire your bedroom to play too many roles. Making it an office, TV, play, workout, or craft room is not a great idea. Remove the clutter, and by all means, make it inviting to get in bed and stay there. From lighting to temperature control to aromas and sounds, you have the capacity to create your sleep oasis. Assess what you need. I need an eye mask because my blinds let in too much light at night. What about some white noise distractions to drown out things that might keep you awake? And is your bed placed where you feel safe and actually have command of the room? Now, for one of the biggies for sleep hygiene, from Michael Hyatt to James Clear in Atomic Habits, the gurus say create a nighttime ritual. This is something I'm personally obsessed with. This is where we get to do all the things that trigger and train and say to our bodies, hey, it's bedtime. I love making my routine something I'm motivated to stick with. So this list is my general routine coinciding with common recommendations. So take a picture if you want some ideas. I start out right out of the gates with my Serenity soft gels. And yes, I have tried the new ones and they're awesome because I want them in me for a minimum of 30 minutes before I'm trying to go to sleep. Next, I do anything that requires moving around. I get my diffuser going, my PJs on, I complete my self-care routine. And then lastly, it's time for my relaxation phase, settling myself down, unwinding, and ready to fall asleep. So I keep my Serenity blend and my stick, and yes, I've been using the stick for the last few weeks as well, and it's wonderful. So I keep them by my bed and I apply before praying, reading, and lights out. From the beginning, this conversation was titled Finding Everyday Serenity. So now let's look at some specific solutions for exactly that. Let's begin with lavender. It's the backbone essential. An EEG study showed that after falling asleep, half the test subjects were exposed to diffused lavender and showed significant differences. They got into deep sleep faster and stayed there longer. Now think about it. If you can improve upon the quality of an oil, then you can improve upon outcomes, right? Well, here's what our own Dr. Alex DeBell had to say about it. It stands to reason that if the chemistry of the oil diffused is the reason for the efficacy, which an objective placebo-controlled study showed, then an industry-leading pharmaceutical-grade lavender oil would perform even better and more reliably, aka doTERRA lavender, right? So if lavender is so great, can outcomes be improved even further? Essential oil blends offer a unique synergistic power due to a stacked deck of ingredient oils and chemical compounds, each bringing unique characteristics to the table. Our Serenity blend, with lavender as that backbone, plus other florals, woods, resins, and plant oils, offers a unique aromatic experience and powerful outcomes. And now that power is available to us through an entirely in a three-step system. Three powerful products, each meant for focused methods of use, combined for a comprehensive approach, giving us multiple ways to bring the power of this blend into our nightly routines. One method is that of internal use, working from the inside out, which brings us to our now upgraded soft gels, the same great sleep solution with added benefits to support our desire for a quality night of rest and nurturing all the stages and phases that lead to that outcome. And even better, there are no after effects or hangover the next day. Here's a little bit about how that works. The newest member of the ingredient deck, Tart Cherry, is a Dream Team addition, no pun intended. This natural source of both tryptophan and melatonin supplies our body with essential ingredients for success. Research suggests, and doTERRA agrees, it's vital to have both right dosing and offer the body what it needs to get on board with production versus swamping it with too much help. In other words, we can make melatonin through the tryptophan serotonin pathway and have a direct source of melatonin as well, kind of a kickstart of sorts. This is the perfect combination for sleep training the body and makes for greater potential and long-term positive effects. Another important ingredient mentioned in the soft gel, it's always had and been a great source of L-theanine, which is famous for boosting alpha waves in both stages 1 and 2 of sleep. From this amino acid, our bodies can produce and increase GABA concentrations in the brain. And that anti-excitatory neurotransmitter is a top choice for relaxing the mind and getting it out of those ceaseless loops that make us crazy when we're trying to go to sleep. So it's a perfect sleep solution companion. Now, for our topical and aromatic solutions that are a perfect fit for our bedtime routines, I could not help myself. I had to show all the things. We are so blessed this year with superb ways to settle down. And in this day and age, we need that. Each of these unique oil and blends has something special to offer. You know the drill. Topical means apply it to our skin. And enhancements to that can include things like healthy touch through massage or a nice soak in a hot tub. We've got Serenity to promote rest and relaxation. And with Blue Lotus, both are great to release tension. And later, being incredible for promoting a healthy dream state. And Shinrin Yoku is fabulous for clearing distractions that have adhered to us during the day, and it can help us cleanse those at night. More specifically, the new Serenity Stick is fabulous for its capacity to play in this topical realm. It's all things from inviting to grounding to moisturize, and with a wonderful aroma. I invite you to get to know the new kid in the stick, valerian root oil. And as a longtime herbalist, I'm proud to introduce to you this new essential oil to our doTERRA family. Historically, it's been known for a number of uses. It's distilled from the root, and an active compound in that oil that I want to highlight is valerianic acid, as it too positively affects GABA and serotonin receptivity. Certainly a value add for our goals and efforts. The bottom line is the stick is a perfect companion for bedtime, as it provides a super easy to use format. I love that it has the same base as the Deep Blue stick and how it stays put and absorbs quickly, getting right to work. And hey, a fun hack for you. If you'll think about your Serenity oil as your concentrate of sorts, of which you can spike or potentize any of your bedtime efforts, I rub the stick on my wrist, inhale it, add another drop of Serenity, rub my wrists together, and just add that extra kick to the process. And inhale it as I go. And speaking of which, again, you know the drill. Our main aromatic methods are diffusing and inhaling in some way, as I just mentioned. This route can be useful anytime as needed, even in the middle of the night, to remind the self, the mind, and the body, hey, what's going on here right now? So we're going to sleep, right? So calm down and get back to sleep. Again, once again, each of our new friends truly has an earned place on Team Sleep. Each brings different chemistry to the same goals. Calm down, relax, let go, love your life right now. Check out. The day is over. And beyond that, they are each very special in their capacity to support our emotional processing during that dream stage of sleep. And now, our last component of sleep hygiene is quality. It's about looking beyond just the number of hours we're in bed. Rather, it's about the quality of these hours and if they've generated a rested and rejuvenated mind and body. Is there anything else for you to consider to optimize your sleep success? Do you have any other gaps? It's at this point that personalizing or customizing your routine is encouraged. With the perspective of our wellness lifestyle in mind, are there other areas of health for you that could be either interfering or contributing to the cause at hand, your sleep? A great way to find out your unique needs is to take the doTERRA Wellness Lifestyle Assessment. You can find it on the .com and take yourself through it, examining each area of need. And of course, the section specifically on rest and managing stress is a clear fit for our processes. And do dive in and rate yourself. However, there can be so much more. Although overwhelming, this slide is on purpose. Take a picture. You'll be glad you did. Do you see all the ways that sleep or the lack thereof can play out in all aspects of our health, including all those metabolic goals you've set? And I only got started due to limited space and time. I couldn't even fit things like reduced toxic load or how it impacts a less than optimal night's sleep. Don't leave these areas out. They are very much a part of your discovery process. Take time to truly make this about you, your needs, and create a routine around those needs. Here's an idea of what a targeted sleep program can look like. In addition to supplying basics like probiotics for that precious gut-brain connection, we know our collagen and our serenity system are directly beneficial to sleep. But what about how you handled your day emotionally? Nicole Stevens has in the past invited in conversation that we make a habit to deal with today during the day and use adaptive to do it. And then she suggests that we close up the day with serenity at night, ensuring today does not follow us into tomorrow. And what about that intense workout you had this morning? I know I usually notice mine about the time I'm finally laying down to go to sleep. Dr. Riggs has been quick to state how occasional discomfort can stand directly between us and our sleep. So for me, bring on the Deep Blues, the Copaiba, and the Frankie. And bonus, Frankie gives me that wonderful brain support for stage 3. It's truly a maximizer's dream come true. You get the drift. Super fun way to make your routine your routine. So to wrap it up, what are our top takeaways? Things you can not only live for yourself, but can share with others as well. Clearly, we need to know more to do better. For me, this research has been invaluable. 2, make sleep a priority. It demands that of us. 3, create a successful sleep routine, complete with time boundaries, a schedule you can keep, and bedtime rituals you love to repeat. And don't go it alone. Get some support, use your Serenity system, and enhance all these dedicated efforts so you're sure to up your sleep average. And lastly, consistency for the win. Sleep is never one and done. It's an everyday commitment that even a night or 2 off can cost us. Choose your success. And again, share your hacks and methods with others. You saw the numbers. There's tens of millions of people who need to know this stuff and do the things. Be a sleep evangelist. Speaking of which, up your knowledge even more by tapping into some great resources from doTERRA. They're right on the website, from a fabulous ebook to blog post, and even a podcast and other resources we've heard about today. There's a PowerPoint even for those of you who'd love to teach a class and ready to roll with invites. My hope is as we close that you will make sleep a priority and that you won't stop there. We've got a world to bless, and doTERRA generously rewards us for doing so. At the very least, sharing and earning is a great way to pay for your upgraded sleep habits. If you are new to this movement called doTERRA, ask the person who invited you to tell you more about sharing doTERRA, our Refer a Friend program, and how you can join us in changing lives. Thanks so much.